صارت؟ اوكي. حضورنا الكريم، نرحب فيكم جميعا في جلسات اليوم الأول من فعالية قصص نجاح المقامة خلال ملتقى شباب المعرفة، وتحتفي خلالها بإنجازات مبدعين ومبتكرين في جيل الشباب للاستفادة من تجربتهم ولتشجيعهم وتحفيز أقرانهم على كتابة قصص نجاحهم. تنعقد الآن الجلسة الثانية وتتحدث فيها ميثا الكعبي عن قصة نجاحها. تفضلي ميثا.
Thank you so much. My name, first of all, I would like to introduce myself for you. My name is Maitha Kaabi, and I would like to thank the organizer to have me here. And I'll try my best أني أتكلم عربي. Feel free, choose what the language you want. I want today to share with you my journey at the University of Oxford. And it was not an easy journey. It was not something I expected one day I would be graduate from this school. You know why? Because of my background, where I come from. I grew up in a small town away from Dubai. Hatta. You know Hatta? So if you know Hatta, there's a people there are a bit like behind when it comes to the education. And there is a limitation for women. You be a teacher in a segregated school or marry somebody, which is not a bad option. But for me, it was like to go beyond. I want to do something neither my sisters or brothers have done. And nor my mom and dad been in a school, by the way. They didn't know how to read or write. So to go to them and say, guys, I want to go to Oxford, it was like, what are you talking about? There is a university everywhere, or especially in the country. Why you need to go abroad? So the first challenge, as you can tell, is the familial and culture challenges. To convince your family to say, you know, guys, I want to go there. I want to obtain my degree from one of the top prestigious schools. You would hear some people like, not necessarily a family member, but a friend. Be realistic. Don't be optimistic. Take an advice from a friend. Be optimistic. And don't listen. One thing I learned in my life, do not tell your vision to people because they can't see it. If you have a vision, just do it. And people later on, they will see it. So that's one challenge. The second challenge that I didn't expect, the requirements to access Oxford. The IELTS scores, GRE, I'm doing a master in public policy. You need to write a policy analysis. That's all it requires. It's demanding, and it requires a lot of critical thinking. That's something we didn't develop, right, in our culture, to criticize, to say, oh, that's wrong. So I start with, I have a passion on climate change, and I'm currently leading UAE on a climate finance negotiation for COP28. That will be hosted here in Dubai, in Expo. You guys are most welcome. It's just politics. So discussing about the climate change. So one of the things I was passionate about the climate change, and especially Paris Agreement. And when I did my application, I wrote a policy analysis before entering Oxford about Paris Agreement, and especially Article 6. It took me a year for me to get the IELTS score that they needed. So I had to travel to UK and basically live in London for 1 month and live in Oxford for the rest of the year, taking exam every month, try to get like the score that they wanted. At the end, you got a 9 in reading, you feel like relieving, right? I did it. I worked for it. Determination pays off. That's the truth. So that's the second thing I want to tell you. So when I enter the school, the first day, that's basically the first day, it's like 150 students. I didn't expect that from every part of the globe. And at that time, I was like, am I in the wrong place? Did I make mistake with being too optimistic? You know, I would point it out someone for you. My colleague who was a mayor for a city on Brazil, like that will be my bear. And other one who been like protester, he coming here is refugee from South Africa, South America to US. I remember it's like, it was, I forgot which part of Ecuador, I believe. So those my colleagues that they have been, oh yeah, Saad al-Faqih, his father, Zaid. His father basically get out of Saudi, or he ran out of Saudi because of the politician. So my colleagues were having different background, coming from different of the globe, and also different age. Like we do have my colleague, Jua from Brazil, who is like in his 50s, and someone like Maitha, other Maitha Suwaidi, who is like 21, the youngest Emirati. So we've been like, for me, it was like a nice experience to be there and to have the student. But I want to extend my, as I mentioned, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Knowledge Foundation, because they were like really supporting me. You know, when I did my application and I got yes from Oxford, I didn't think at that time, because I didn't have experience, neither of my family did, that you need money. And I was like, uh-oh. And I have like, yeah, scholarship. And then with the generosity of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid and the foundation, and not only giving you the money, they were following you. They were visiting me in Oxford and following my education and my learning. And I'm very thankful for them. Because of them, I realized my dream. You know, you could get yes, you could do well on your application. You could do fantastic in your the requirements that they want, but you need a scholarship. And that's, I would say, the big burden on my shoulders, like taken. I'm very thankful to them and to Smo Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, honestly. This is the new thing about Oxford. Something people, they don't know about the Oxford, that Oxford is the name. I didn't go because of the name. I went there because of the program. But I was surprised the culture that we have to go, or things that we have to do. You need to meticulate. Have you been meticulated before? I'm like, why we need to be meticulous? What the hell is that? Sorry for my language. And they say, oh, this is a custom. Oh, that's my colleague Jua. So that's a customs. To enter, to be a member of the University of Oxford, you need to be meticulated. And you need to wear a vest, and you need a dress, and then you go there, and basically go to the Sheldon Theater, and they will read some Greek, and here we go. You got meticulated. Basically means you are a member of the University of Oxford. That's not a graduation. That's just going to the school. Before that, I was meeting with my colleague online. At that time, we had COVID. We need to meet to discuss to know each other. So it's been like a very active cohort, to be honest, and very lively. There've been a lot of things we did together. It's beyond the classroom. I would tell you something about the classes. When I enter the first day, I did something, and I was like thinking in this way, I'm going to study a lot, I'm going to do that because there's a lot of reading, to be honest. There's a lot of reading you need to do it. But for me at that time, I was focusing on basically catch up with all the materials, and I failed. You know why? Because it's a lot. And the Oxford University did that on purpose because they want you to create a study group and split the work. If you can't do it by yourself, the point is not to do it by yourself, but to create a group and a teamwork and the skills that they want you to develop under heaven. So I was like, oh, that's impossible. And we start to create study groups. And my study groups, we were like meeting once every a week, and we discuss all the reading that we need to do for the whole semester. But again, I was passionate about the climate change, and I want to do a lot about the climate change. And all the courses and the classes on Oxford, it was about economics, that I have no idea about it, foundation philosophy, which I don't understand it. It's everything not related to my interest. So what I did, my colleagues, I love them, we create a club. We call it a climate warrior. And today I'm working for COP28 because I'm passionate about climate change. So we create a club, and we did this every Wednesday at 8 a.m. to meet, and we are very committed to that. So the school and the experience is beyond like the classroom, what you can do more. And during, we have McCalmus and we have Hillary. During Hillary, at the end of Hillary, the beginning of Trinity, what happened? Ukraine and Russia war. The school was updated the curriculum to basically discuss this. And we were like taking classes for international law and basically use the class or whatever we learned, theory, and try to deploy it in a practical, like Ukraine and Russia war. Now, we were discussing on the class something like the human rights. Now, if they put the sanction to stop the war, that's basically probably it could help, but at the same time, how about Russia people? Because economic sanction can affect them. So that's the thing we try, because the motto of Blavatnik School is a better led, like a better served and better led as a government. So when you think about serving your own people, you serve your public, you learn how to design policy, but at the same time, we can't neglect the part of humanity. So we need to think about people. It's not always about, we need to be number one economically and number one politically. How about the social? And you need to basically create the balance where you draw the line. And we have something, the warrior, the climate warrior, was a student-led initiative. And my story, I was showing them my grandma. So my story was telling people, it's like every Friday at 5 p.m., we will come together as a student and sit in the classroom, so it's not mandatory, and tell each other stories. I was sharing with my colleagues my entrepreneur idea, start up a business in California. So the idea is like how we can basically use a technology to build tiny houses. And at that time, I was like, we had a class on economics, and we had something related to innovation. And I present the idea and how we can use the government to support this. Here in our class, there was like a whole class. We designed it, that's our professor, Tom, and we designed it to be basically a COP27 simulation. So COP27 was in Sharm el-Sheikh. It was in May, June. So we were like simulate. I was like playing Aluka Charm. And we were like and debating reality. So the classroom, it was not just the teacher telling you. It's about, exchange. You design, you tell yourself. And that's the thing make Oxford unique. Like, it's not just about the teacher telling you. It's not about the name of the school. It's all of it. Like for me, a 1 year run very quickly. I didn't know, like, it was like on September, and then I see in like June, I need to work on my summer project. So it was like, it went very, very quickly, but it's really very interesting experience. I would recommend many young people to do it, and don't be scared. I mean, don't always hunt the top. Don't say like, oh, I can't do it, maybe because I'm not English speaker, or I don't have background in X, or I don't have background. You just underestimate your limits and your potential. Just don't do it. And what is, yeah, run for Ukraine. So during the pandemic, and we were like in a class busy talking about the politics. At the same time, we want to do something good. So what we did, we have a half marathon in Cambridge. So I'm supposed to be in Oxford, studying MBB in Oxford, right? So we are students. We went to Cambridge University, completely different than our university, and we did the exchange program. So the students from Cambridge, they come to us, and students from us go there and kind of discussing the different experience of learning. And during our time in Cambridge, we decided there was like a half marathon. And we decided, okay, let's do it and raise money for Ukraine. And we managed to raise, basically, the Cambridge was a half marathon, but the Ukraine one was a 10K. But it was in Oxford. It was not in Cambridge. My mistake, sorry. In the 10K, we managed to raise 20,000 pounds, like 100,000 dirhams for Ukraine. It was just a bunch of students run and get the money to do good. And one of my colleagues, I'm sure I didn't see him here, his name Victor. Victor is a Superman. At the time we had exams, we have to submit 12,000 words. Victor decided to leave the school and to leave the exam and run all the way to Poland to help the refugee in Ukraine. It's not, you know, when I went to Oxford, I didn't go because of the name, and I reiterate this a lot. It's not because of the name, it's because of the people, the diversity. Everyone, no matter where they come from, they want to do good. They want to serve their own people. They want to, he's Canadian, and his family is Polish, and he ran all the way to the Poland, where it's like Russia is invading Ukraine to help refugees and to help people and help food. And that's why we use this to basically raise money to basically get the food for Ukrainian refugees. And that's a good, it's not a part of your education. That will not be a part of your curriculum or your degree. But this is part of you. If you want to be a leader, you need to think about people. You don't think about position. You think about people. And the leader is not the one who basically sit in the front and give the orders. The leader who sit behind and let his team manage. I learned a lot from them. They make me grow up very quickly. I learned, to fight for something you're passionate about it. I learned from them that you can't achieve anything without teamwork. You need a team. And I told you, for 12,000 words to write it by yourself, you have to we have to collect our own notes. That's how we pass it. And this is my graduation. So the Blavatnik and the college. And finally, okay, there was no final. That's actually the final. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I take more time, but I got so excited. But feel free to ask me any question. And if you don't have, you can always find me on LinkedIn. Any question? Yes, please.
سلمى العالم، كاتبة وصحفية. كنت بدي أعرف كيف الدراسة برا بتكون، يعني نظرة الأجانب إلنا كعرب. UK, I'm sorry to say, this is one of the countries that so many people are suffering from racism over there. So how racism, some people are racist towards Arabs, especially the image that they have on us. we are terrorists, we are so solid, something like that. How did you face that? And how was their impression whenever they know that you are an Emirati and you're from Dubai? Tell us about this.
There are more Arabic in the UK than any places. It's like if you go to to London, you see they have a newspaper in Arabic. For me, when I was in London, I was like, I'm in Dubai. It's like literally they have that. And when I was in Oxford with different people coming from different parts of the globe, it was not like they hate Arabs. No, I would not say that. They have a different, and remember, the media tell them, so they get their info from the media, from the social media. So they got a wrong impression. So during my study in Oxford, we used to do a lot of case studies, a real case study, like stop and search in London. The police will stop you and get it's by the law to do that. And we did a case study on a stop and search. And during my time in Blavatnik, it's not like we have the case study and we bring the police, London police to the office, to the classroom. And we have like a comfortable talk with them. So there were like a lot of, you can't control people, which is the truth. If that person decided to be racist, that's him. What you can control, though, is the law, is the regulation. But you can't control people. I can be a policeman serving my government, but I'm a racist. That has nothing to do with the government or with the leadership or with whoever putting the policy. It's the person himself. It's the mentality. That is come from different people. I would say, explore to different sources, and he decided his narrative. Any other questions? Am I answering your question? No. And I don't think you will. It's like there was a bunch of students, Emirati students in Oxford. I was not the only one. Yes, sir.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Rayan Mahfouz, representing Lebanon, sports commentator, content creator, and community developer. First of all, allow me to praise you on your efforts, and your story is actually inspirational in a way and another. I would like to ask you a question regarding your role in the simulation for COP27. What are the accomplishments that you think you were proud of? And to what extent do you think that following the simulation that you have undergone, you noticed that there was a certain response by the high-level leaders worldwide who have been debating all the time about the importance of reaching an agreement to fight against climate change until the outcome was under the expectations? What do you have to reflect about that?
There's a lot in your question to catch up on it. So let me first talk about the simulation, COP27. So it's a part of our school. It's not just like a theory, or we take something practical, like the module policy challenge 2. So, and then divided to 3 different modules, and one of them was simulation of COP27. And basically, we were reading UNFCCC. We were doing all the reading, the backgrounds, and not only reading about UNFCCC, basically, I would say the umbrella of climate change. We were engaging, like for example, I was representing UK. So, and it was challenging for me because I'm always devoting for developing countries, and now I'm wearing the hat of developed countries. So I need to think, and in a negotiation room, you need to think of your country interest. It's not other interests. So I was trying as a UK Alok Sharma to try to think how I could stop UK from paying money and, the leverage of that. That's like, can I tell you, it's to think on the opposite of your mindset. This experience saved a lot of time for me in my career now. So I already know what's going on, the history. I know the country's position. So when I did my summer project with the COP28 and how we've used COP28 UAE to facilitate at the 100 billion. UAE has nothing to do with that. UAE is not responsible with the damage, historical missions. And this 100 billion is actually commitment from developed country to developing country in 2009, Copenhagen Accord. So I would say, you see all of that, it helps me with my career. That's built me on that. So it saved more time. So I'm not new in my work, but at the same time also it give me advantage comparing to my peer or my colleagues. When we're gonna solve climate change problem? How we're gonna do it? It's a beyond environmental issue. It's a political, economical issue. And now we are engaging a lot of people, young people, to involve in the decision makers. Because it's not anymore for politicians to make, it's a young people who has to make the decision. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
No problem. Any comments, questions? Okay, for saving the time for organizer, because I don't want to panicking them, if anyone have any question or want to be in touch, you can check me on the LinkedIn or with the organizer. Thank you so much.